Could you just tell us what ChildHaven is in your own words?
ChildHaven is 26 years old this year. It's an organization founded in Canada, and it has 9 children's homes over in India, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Tibet. And we care for about 1,100 children. We try very hard to follow the principles of Mahatma Gandhi, and we do that very imperfectly, but that's our goal. Children come to us from age 6 and below because they are the most at risk.
So you said that you used Gandhi as the guiding light, I guess, for ChildHaven. Why did you choose him?
His ideas of the power of nonviolence are just so crucially important. That violence breeds violence, and love breeds love.
What did it feel like when you opened your first home?
We made a lot of mistakes. We set up 2 homes at the same time. One was in Gujarat. The other was right after the gas explosion in Bhopal. It was hard to find children.
Yeah?
There were a lot of children who needed care, but it was hard to find them. And we tried to set up, we sent 2 or 3 people over to Bhopal to try to set up a home. We actually rented a place, but we found that in Bhopal nobody trusted North America. I think we had 1 child that we took from Bhopal up to the home in Gujarat. Then we got another child who was 5 years old. He didn't speak, and we're not sure whether it was because he couldn't hear. It's still a mystery. And because he couldn't speak, we tattooed on his arm the address of where he was, where our home was. He was enamored of trains and buses. And our son Mohan was over there. He was kind of in charge of the home at that time. And he tried to keep an eye on this little 5-year-old all the time. And he kept pulling him off of buses and trains coming through town. And then one day he disappeared. We don't know what happened to him or where he was. And whoever read the tattoo didn't know he was gone. So we also got a boy who was 13 that someone brought who had childhood diabetes. So he was not expected to live. Then there was a young couple who were living in a little hovel, maybe the size of a table here, with a burlap roof so the rain would come through. And the couple had 4 children, no income, so we hired the mother as a caregiver. And the 4 children, there were 3 boys and a girl, and they told us through an interpreter that they would really appreciate it if we educated the boys, but the girl didn't need education. So of course Bonnie put 4 of them in school. And then she got her first pay, and she decided that she was rich and she didn't need to work anymore. So those kids all left. I'm telling you all this because we make mistakes, and we made a lot of mistakes. We decided that the best way to raise money was to raise $14 a month for each child. The family over here who would pay that. So we got 7 families to pay $14 a month for the upkeep of these children. And then we thought, well, that really isn't enough. We should get, it costs twice that much. So we got another 7 families. So we doubled up on each child. And then, when those 4 kids left, and the diabetic child died, the little 5-year-old we had these 14 families in Canada sponsoring these children, and only one baby sponsored. So we had to write to them all in an embarrassed way that the child you're sponsoring is no longer there. Do you want your money back? And of course, none of them did. So that was how we got our start.
And you said that you made a lot of mistakes. Do you continue to make a lot of mistakes, or do you feel that you have kind of ironed that out?
Well, we iron out the earlier problems, but we keep making mistakes. I think Bonnie and I figured out one time that about 75% of the things that we really poured our souls into to try to do some project or other, 75% were total flop. But you have to expect that it's not always going to flop. Most of the time it's going to be an embarrassing flop.
Now you have 8 homes. Did you, or 9?
Yeah, well, there's a new, we had 8 until very recently.
Did you ever think you'd get that number of homes?
Well, you always dream about what might happen. Right now we're trying not to expand. We're trying to do a good job with the kids that we have.
But do you have any plans in the future to expand? You
No.
said very. So when comparing your smaller homes, like I noticed that one only had 21 children, to the larger ones, what are the differences that you find, and which home would you rather live in?
That's Madeline. That's like saying which kid do you like of all your children? No, they're all unique. They're all interesting.
Yes.
They're all doing well. There's so many good things about the home that I just sit back and wonder how did it get to this wonderful point. One thing is that with 1,100 children, you would expect, like if you go by percentages from over here, you would expect that 30% would be fat, and they get enough to eat. It's nourishing food, but there's no junk food. My wife adopted 19 kids, you probably know that.
I do know that.
And we had 2 born to us.
So I have another question for you.
Yeah.
You said earlier that you had approximately 75% failure rate.
Yeah.
Was there ever a point where you were wondering why you were doing this? And also, adopting 19 kids, was there why did I do this?
In the kitchen,
Well, in our family is, to me, a whole big mystery. I don't know how I survived that. The problem is that I married this eccentric woman, and she knows that I'm totally enchanted with her, and she takes advantage. So, she wraps me around her little finger, and that's the problem I have.